Hello and welcome back to those of you that are finding us on a different link at the Shenington SuperPrix. Apologies that we had a bit of a technical issue that meant that we missed the first final of the day in Army Water Swift Restricted, but congratulations nonetheless to Henry Hales, who took the victory, and the Shenington SuperPrix and the E-Plate as well in Army Water Swift Restricted. The next race we're on at the moment is the Super 4 250 Mono Super Karts, as they head all the way up to the far end of the circuit. Oh, someone caught a curb there that didn't do any favours at all at the speed they were going. As we run up all the way up to the far end of the circuit and back down again here in the gearbox classes. Jack Bliss will lead Charlie Cole. That's your top two. Karts with a brake on each corner. Kieran Metz in third place, Matt Ornutt, Tim Woods, Aaron Powell, Sam Harrison. As Jack Rolfe and David Goody are down the order. Goody crossing the line now in P19. Jack Rolfe not crossing the line just yet, but did complete sectors 1 and 2 and is now across the timing line with the gap for a 105. As Charlie Cale goes down the inside of Jack Bliss to take the lead in this Northern Karting Federation supported 250 Mono Supercar final. Anything that Jack Bliss can do here. There's that curb that got clipped at the start of the race. As we run up towards the slightly differently profiled. It's still a hairpin but has a tighter entry and then opens out on the exit for that run up onto the gearbox loop. Just had a little under 200 metres to the circuit length. As into the pits comes the 48 of Marcus Hudson. He's joined by the 82 of David Goody as well. So a few retirees. Nathan Craddock under investigation for something early on in the race, potentially, given the green flag time and when that came, which was less than 20 seconds later, potentially a jump start. Metzen, Ornutt and Woods are your three there on screen. Leaders some 1.5 seconds down the road between Charlie Cole and Jack Bliss. Just having a quick look at the results that happened prior to the things. Looks like we're clearing most of our races. Barton, Lima, Evans, Murray and Nen through in Junior X30 from the B final. X30 Senior is the last one. We've got black flag for the 24 of Jack Rolfe. Currently being shown as 4 laps down. Sam Harrison falling down the order as well right now. Across the line in P15, having 3 or 4 places on that previous lap. Kieran Metzen in number 7, still holding firm from Matt Allnut and Tim Woods. Another Kart peeling off. Well, Don Brown potentially. Was 13 seconds off the back of the pack previously. So still Metzen holding on to that final step of the podium at the minute from Matt Allnut and Tim Woods. So in the number 4 machine. Closing in, trying his best, and will try and go down the inside in what is a very late move, and I think he's realised that and allows Kieran Metzen to hold on to that place. And he could have, given his track position, just driven around the outside of Kieran Metzen then, but decided that it may have incurred the wrath and therefore just slots back into position. We'll have another go at it, but that's allowed Aaron Powell right up onto the back as well in the number 5 machine. Tim Woods going well in 4. Charlie Cole still leading this race then from Jack Bliss. Gap is a little under a second between the leading duo. And 7 seconds down the road though, they are coming past the commentary position, which is on the outside of Cafe Corner, which is pretty much 2/3 of the way around, about there. The window to the left that you can see is where I am perched. Talking about being perched, that's Chris Lawson perched up on some tyres somewhere. Trying to figure out, there's that down right down at the far end. It is down at Stratford 2. It's gone off. Did say earlier on there's not a lot of runoff down that far end. Improved. Lawson will drop down the order unless he can get that car unhooked from the tyres. There will be a yellow flag up there, I imagine. There is a stationary yellow board at Marshall Post 3. And that will be a waved one up the far end there. You see a green board beyond that. Minute and 30 on the clock. Leaders well down the road from this battle at the moment, but Metzen on upwards powerful. The final trophy is Northern Karting Federation Super 4 250 final. Still with Kieran Metzen holding on from Matt Allnut at the moment. That far down the road, we may well get extra lap in here at the end of this one. 9+1 for our finals. There's your leader coming down the back straight. Still with 20 seconds on the clock. May well have enough in the tank as Metzen moves over to the left-hand side of the track, as you can see. It's trying to block off 36 of Matt Allnut. Of Dan Rawdon in front of Nathan Caddick. our leaders with the time down to 0, so we could indeed get round prior to the time elapsing. So lap and a half to go. And Charlie Cole may well have to contend with some of this lap traffic before the end of this race. Goes into the right-hander of Cafe Cornet. Commences the final lap. And that long run all the way up towards the Stratford hairpin as he goes down the inside as well, and that's going to box in the one of Jack Bliss as Nathan Caddick tries to get a run on Dan Rawdon. Nonetheless, it was already a foregone conclusion at the front of this race, as Charlie Cole will come through to win the 2026 Super Prix in 250 Superkart from Jack Bliss. We'll await the battle that's going between Metz and Ornut, Woods and Powell for the final step on the podium. Who's going to emerge? It is the 7 of Kieran Metz in front of Matt Ornut, Tim Woods and Aaron Powell. So it's as you were in the run up towards the final corner. There is your winner, your 2026 Super Prix Super 4 250 Superkart winner. Charlie Cole gets the congratulations of Jack Bliss, who finished the race in second place. Did set the fastest lap as well, though, did Jack Bliss, on lap number 12 of 14. You can see there how much it takes out of these drivers in a 9-minute plus 1 lap final. So Jack Bliss just takes in a few gulps of air in that second place. Charlie Cole pops it into neutral as he goes over to see the rest of his team. We move on then to a race that I expect to be action-packed from the green. From the get-go, it's time for Honda Cadet. Let's take you through a grid then for our Honda Cadets. Marcus Cooper and Nico Veselovsky in front of Archie Cannon and Sawyer Henderson. Oliver Ratton and Ben Bowers on row number 3. Row 4, Joshua Bailey and Cian Doherty. Mason Becker and Freddie Drury with Ollie Knox and Finlay Thursfield in front of Cian Delaney and Phoebe Shelton. Archie Edgar, Austin Dowell, Reggie Cook and Fraser Messer in P18. Ethan Bainbridge completes the grid as we head up towards the timing line, and we're away and racing. Good start by Nico Veselovsky as he moves himself through down the inside, but it's going to be Marcus Cooper, I think, who will exit in the lead. Keep an eye out for Mason Becker. The only reason he's so far down the order is a slight mistake in heat number 2. So I'd expect to see him come through if he can get through the opening lap traffic. It's starting to get a little bit frantic further down the order. And a good start though by Ben Bowers, the current championship leader, has made his way up from P6 into 3rd place there in the sky blue and purple coloured machine of Team 17. So Cooper, Veselovsky, Bowers, Doherty, Cannon, Henderson, Knox, Ratton, Drury, Bailey, Becker, who didn't have the opening lap he'd have hoped for, currently in P11, but that just shows you the quality of this Honda Cadet field. So Marcus Cooper leads from Nico Veselovsky, who asks Cooper to go forwards and not defend. Did this very, very well. Did Veselovsky in the second heat? It was with Mason Becker rather than Marcus Cooper. Archie Cannon finds his way up now into third place in front of Ben Bowers. Moves further down the order as well. Austin Dowell up into P16. Fraser Messer down to P17. They've swapped round. Do not expect this field to fragment too much. Sealed Honda power units give us a very consistent playing field, as there's a warning for Archie Cannon. Up onto the back of Nico Veselovsky. I don't know whether that was for his overtake on Ben Bowers. Well, Cannon may well have gone down the inside there on Veselovsky. So we go down to Sawyer Henderson there in the P25, the current joint championship leader in the British Championships, in P6, trying to get alongside Cian Doherty, still being led there by Marcus Cooper in front of this race. Tello Adventure supporting Mason Becker, currently P9. Don't think he'd have hoped to ascend through this field a little bit faster. There he goes in the background though, coming through down the inside. Has now got to the front of that train of cars and moves himself up to 6th place on that lap. So Drury and Doherty drop some places. There's a warning for Phoebe Shelton, currently in P14. So top 4 have a little bit of a gap back to Henderson and Becker. I do wonder if Becker can get onto the back. That's what they need. They need drivers overtaking in front. That's Archie Cannon down the inside of Nico Veselovsky. Veselovsky saw it coming, and I don't think that's lost them a lot of time. In fact, it hasn't. There's Archie Cannon. The lap and go set the fastest lap of the race. Faster, in fact, than Marcus Cooper in front of him, even with the overtake. Just having a quick look. Henderson was a little bit slower, but Mason Becker was 4/10 faster than Sawyer Henderson. Now, whether he catches Henderson and then decides to work with him, I think he's through already. Here's Mason Becker. Yes, he is, in the Project 1 colours. Henderson with MJR, and then down the inside goes Archie Cannon for the lead. A man on a mission, and that's going to allow Ben Bowers, I think, down the inside of Nico Veselovsky. They'll remain side by side round the first corner, and the Veselovsky slots in, and all of a sudden, what was a 4-kart battle at the front goes all the way down to P12 and Oliver Ratton in the 22. Ben Bowers is down the inside of Veselovsky. Wouldn't be surprised if Becker gets track position there as well, although does slot back into 5th place. Becker will still have sights on a podium here. The leading duo pushing away at the front though. Now all of these drivers in this sort of mix as Freddie Drury just in front now of Sawyer Henderson, although Henderson's going to come back at him a little bit further down. I think that's the 94 of Cian Doherty going down the inside of Finley Thursfield. Thursfield, Bailey, Ratton just off the back. It was Doherty on Knox, I think, for 8th place. Cannon, Becker, Bowers. Sorry, Cannon, Cooper and Bowers in the top 3. Becker is now through on Nico Veselovsky. Mason Becker, who started this race in P9. Freddie Drury started in P10. They've both moved up 5 places. Having said that, Becker was down in P11 at the end of lap 1. Becker on the outside of Ben Bowers, but will have track position, I think, in the run up to Stratford, and Bowers is going to get hung out to dry on the outside, gets shuffled back behind Nico Veselovsky and Freddie Drury in the Apollo as well. So Bowers is going to go from 3rd to 6th. Henderson just behind him. Cannon and Marcus Cooper. Is there anything that Mason Becker can do? 2.5 minutes to go. Top 9 split by 1.8 seconds down to Ollie Knox. Then there's a gap back to Bailey Ratton and Thursfield, and then the rest of the field as well. And here we go. Cannon's widen on the outside, and he's going to lose 2 to the Project 1 duo of Cooper and Becker. And Becker's going to get the run here on Marcus Cooper, and now if Archie Cannon and the rest can get to the inside, they're side pod to side pod. Cooper didn't know he was there. Mason Becker's still in the gap. He's going to go down the inside, and now it's Cooper's turn to get shuffled back. Mason Becker will lead them with 1.5 minutes on the clock. From Archie Cannon, Freddie Drury's up into a podium position, albeit that is brief as Cooper comes back down the inside. Still not sure that Cooper knew that Becker was there on that run up to the right-hander at Hanger. If he did, he was always going to turn in on a cart that was there, because Mason Becker was down the inside, and now Cooper's getting shuffled back. Becker's got a contact warning. .55 on the clock. Lapping in the 50s, so there will be 2 laps to go at the end of this one, and Archie Cannon has gone down the inside of Mason Becker. They've got a gap of nearly a second back to Ben Bowers now in 3rd place. Cooper, Doherty, Henderson, Drury, Veselovsky, as that's Cooper's down the inside on Ben Bowers. Bowers is getting squeezed onto the graph. Cooper's going to go all the way around the outside and will have track position. I think again Ben Bowers is going to get shuffled backwards on the outside. Sawyer Henderson's in the mix as well. I think Bowers has lost 2. Cooper's there as well. It's the 94 coming through and up into, of Cian Doherty up into 4th place. Contact warning for Freddie Drury. Gap at the front is going out as they battle it over this final step on the podium. May well come back together though if Archie Cannon goes super defensive and hugs that white line on the inside. Becker's going to try and go all the way around the outside and then dive down the inside into Cafe Corner. He's got the job done, but Cannon has got a lap to fight back. Run up towards the Stratford hairpin. Becker will hold that inside white line. Can Cannon go all the way around the outside and get the switchback? He can get the switchback side by side up towards the Bruno chicane, and Archie Cannon will retake the lead all the way around the outside. Thought Becker was coming back at him. Cannon holds firm. Now he'll migrate towards the inside. Close the door, look at the rest of the field. They're coming back as well. Up towards the right-hander at Wilkins. Becker's going to try the inside line. Cannon's going to have the track position though. Can he get the run out the final corner? Archie Cannon wins the SuperPrix 2026 from Mason Becker, who charged through from P9 to finish in 2nd place. Marcus Cooper, as we see the 88 of Fraser Messer out on the final lap. Cannon, Becker and Cooper go to the podium. Henderson, Doherty, Bowers, Drury were all in the mix as well. They finished 4th to 7th respectively. Ollie Knox, Joshua Bailey, Oliver Ratton and Finlay Thursfield with Nico Veselovsky in P12. Archie Edgar, Austin Dowell, Cian Delaney with Reggie Cook, Ethan Bainbridge, Phoebe Shelton and Fraser Messer will roll round in a few moments' time. Will take the checkered flag in P19, having been recovered from the outside of the Bruno chicane. Archie Cannon, though, Here's your 2026 Shenington SuperPrix final winner in what I billed as an action-packed Honda Cadet final, and it did not disappoint. Archie Cannon takes the victory from Mason Becker and Marcus Cooper. Thank you to those of you that are joining us on this new link for the live stream. We had an issue on the previous one, and therefore I think hopefully a few of you are now starting to find this link for the second part and the finals of the SuperPrix. Again, apologies to our Army Waterswift restricted runners. We didn't quite catch your final before we managed to rectify the technical issues that we had. Next final though, and it's going to be an E-plate on offer, up for grabs in the Might E Motorsports sponsored Might E Bambinos. Presley Knight will start on pole position. Aidan Castleman alongside Jules Nash and Rafe Verdi on the second row. Max West and George Miller on row number 3. Row 4 sees Teddy Veselovsky and Jack Rossi Minot, Cruz Rogers and Emerson Elliott complete your 10 runners in this Mighty Bambino final. They head out onto track. Say the E-plate is up for grabs. Plenty of prizes as well. The Ryman family sponsoring a prize for the fastest lap in each of our finals, and a canvas print as well to all the winners from Stu Stretton Photography, amongst many other prizes. The prize pot totaling around about £14,000 for our podium finishers and top novices, of course, in our classes here in the for this 2026 Shenington SuperPrix. Event that has been running since the year 2000, with the exception of 2001. They ran it as a one-off in 2000 and then brought it back as an annual event from 2002 onwards. Field then into position for what will be an 8-minute plus 1 lap final. Kevin Cannon in the live chat saying well done to Archie Cannon, brilliant race. That's from his granny and granddad in Scotland. Be coming down to watch him next week. Support as well coming in for the 18 of Jules Nash. There he is on the right hand side of the screen as we get this Mighty Bambino final underway, and Nash is going to make an immediate attempt on second place as he goes down the inside of Aidan Castleman. That was pre-planned from the moment they got going. He moved from third place all the way across to the left-hand side on our screen on the right-hand side of the track to get the track position on Aidan Castleman and move himself up into second place. It's been the Presley Knight show so far. But in the second heat, Jules Nash was matching him pace-wise, but had to come through from his qualifying berth of P8. Now going off the second row and immediately up into second place. Can he go with the all-black machine of Presley Knight? Rafe Verdi there trying to go down the inside of Aidan Castleman. Castleman has it scouted and leaves the door sufficiently open that he can just drive all the way around the outside. 0.4 of a second the gap then on the opening lap. Presley Knight in front of Jules Nash and Aidan Castleman. Castleman and Nash take different lines. I'm surprised they're not just having a little push job at the moment just to try and draw up onto the back of Presley Knight and give Knight something to think about. Castleman into the wheel tracks of Presley Knight at the moment. And there, with a dive, goes Aidan Castleman. From a good distance back as well on Jules Nash. Nash is going to try and come straight back at Castleman almost immediately. Again, I think the move will come into Cafe Corner, and indeed does it down the inside. These two very evenly matched, but in battling it out over second place, are to a large extent helping Presley Knight to escape at the front. Rafe Verdi is still in the mix as well there in the slightly darker red number 20. Again, another drive over, though not in the sticker kit that we saw Ben Bowers, but racing with Team 17. Jules Nash this time on Aidan Castleman from a similar distance back that Castleman went down the inside on him a few laps ago. Rafe Verdi is going to be the only one that really wins out of that, as he's trying to go down the inside, and they'll run 3 wide. That'll be tight round Cafe Corner, and they do all sort of bounce off each other and come out in the same order. But as Presley Knight puts in the fastest lap of the race, if he had wing mirrors, he would be very happy with what he could see in the background, because they are backing themselves into Max West and George Miller as well. No Jack Rossi Minot in this final. So we have only got the 9 runners battling it out over the E-plate. Down the inside goes Nash, and that's going to allow Rafe Verdi through as well, although it's only brief as Aidan Castleman comes back up into 3rd place. And this time, we decide to have a little bit of a tidier Cafe Corner. Presley Knight at the front, though. The gap's out to 3 seconds. It was only a second on the previous lap. He's in the 59.6s on that previous lap. The rest of the field in the 101s, particularly Nash and Castleman, as they battled it out over that second place. In fact, West was nearly a second faster than those in front of him, including Rafe Verdi as well. However, you can see now they're dropping away. There's so pace-wise, Nash, Castleman and Verdi have got a little bit more at this phase in the race than what West and Miller have got. However, as soon as they start battling, it does allow West and Miller back into the mix. So they just need to stick around at the moment. As Max West in the number 32. He's in the, obviously got Cato Motorsport colours on. Didn't may well be running out of their stable. Still 4 minutes to go, as Presley Knight now has a very comfortable gap at the front. Sadly for him, and I'm sure he will not mind one bit, does mean that he doesn't quite get the camera time. That will be at the moment reserved for Nash, Castleman, and it was Verdi, but he's fallen off the back of this duo at the moment to the tune of around about 0.6 of a second, and that is largely because Nash and Castleman are working together to try and pull away, and they can have a battle over second place in due course. Live Parkhouse in the live chat. Supporting Jules Nash. Up round the right-hander of Wilkins, there you go. Castleman's got a good run on the exit. There's a gap down the inside and they cross the timing line 1,000th apart. But it is Castleman then up into second place then now. Jules Nash dropping down into P3. Still all looking good for a podium, because Rafe Verdi, the early race pace that he had in the 20 has fallen away. In fact, he's probably a little bit closer at the moment to Max West in P5 than Jules Nash in third place. He's more likely to squabble in front though, so if he can stick around, he'll be okay. It's a very wide line by Aidan Castleman. It's a risky game. It does allow him to get the drive out of the corner, and he'll cross the line with more of a gap than what he had on the previous lap, that's for sure. But leaving that door open down at Wilkins is always going to be a risky game. There is Presley Knight, the all-black kart, the yellow sticker on the Mighty power unit to his right-hand side, the camera's left, glittering in the sunshine. And potentially in around about 2 minutes' time, it could be the winner's trophy in his hand that's glittering in the sunshine. Again, that's that door left open by Aidan Castleman that Jules Nash, this time, having seen that on the previous lap, has positioned his kart nicely to go through. So Nash up into second place. 2 laps to go, I think. I think Presley Knight will just about trip the timing beam about a second after we go down to 0. Nash is going to open the door and drive all the way around the outside of Aidan Castleman on that occasion. Wonder if he takes a tighter line next time round. He's clearly confident on the brakes. Problem is, if there's a kart down the inside of you, as may well be, in the run up towards the right-hander at Hanger, he will take a tighter line in, that's for sure, and indeed does. In fact, it also brings Castleman a little bit tighter to the inside as well. As expected, the final lap for Presley Knight, as Castleman and Nash will run side by side up towards Cafe Corner, and through goes Aidan Castleman. Thought Nash was going to drive it all the way around the outside there and hold on and go down the inside, and now he's going to try and go on the outside. Can he get the switch back onto the inside? And I think the kart is there. Is Castleman's going to squeeze across on him? Yes, he does, but he's already in front of Jules Nash, and I don't think he'll be quite as accommodating down at Wilkins in leaving the door open this time. He's already made that mistake once already, and Nash duly accepted the invitation. Out of the final corner though, Presley Knight will cross the line to win the 2026 Mighty E-Plate and the Shenington SuperPrix from Aidan Castleman in second place, Jules Nash in third. That's your podium in a race-long battle. Max West and George Miller both finish in front of Teddy Veselovsky. Rafe Verdi has finished. He's coming into he's in the pit lane behind Max West, so I don't know whether he's had a transponder issue, but there we go. He's been reinstated into P5, which is correct for Rafe Verdi. George Miller, Teddy Veselovsky, Cruz Rogers and Emerson Elliott complete your field. But Presley Knight, with a gap of 6.75 seconds, is your 2026 Shenington SuperPrix and English champion. He'll have the honour of running the E-plate if he wishes until this time next year. Next up then, there's another E-plate on offer. This time it's in 210 National. Harry Morris starts on pole position in the 41. Dan Burry alongside him. And Stuart Henry and Thomas Stone just behind. Lionel Sifleet and Paul Fowler on rope number 3. David Smith and Russell Hopes in front of Oliver Shelley and Ray. Standing start, hence why the start marshal is making his way out onto the track. He's not into extreme sports or anything like that. Don't fancy standing down the middle of 2 rolling start classes. Field making the way around, I think Harry Morris will have a field making the way around. I think Harry Morris will have a fairly long way to think potentially. I know he slowed right down at the final corner, so he won't. I thought he was going to go all the way around and have to take up his position and then have to wait for everybody, but there he goes. He's going to move across. They are again in the offset gridded position, which does allow a better reaction should somebody not manage to get away. It's just holding the wheel rather than using the brake, so they don't actually do too much damage to the clutch. And the brakes as well. Here we go then. And we are away in racing. It's a good start by Dan Burry, who's going to go all the way around the outside of Harry Morris at the start and lead as the 59 of Paul Fowler goes up and over the curbs and is a little bit slow on the exit of Cafe Corner. Here though comes Harry Morris down the inside of Dan Burry, and we might even have a change for second place as well, as Lionel Sifleet tries to draw alongside Dan Burry, and indeed does. Burry, having led the opening 250 metres or so of this race, will fall down into P3 after a really good start, got a good launch. Put himself away and round the outside of Harry Morris in front. So Morris leads then, the end of lap number 1. From Sifleet, Burry, Stone, Smith, Henry, Hopes, Sloan, Shelley and Miles are your top 10. Ian Taylor not tripping that, trips the timing line now, just behind the 53 of David Scull. And that kart does sound a little bit like the exhaust is blowing a little bit on that Ian Taylor kart. Invader 210 according to the entry list. Anderson AKs, we've got a few Jade karts out there as well, and Airkart F1 for David Scull. Lionel Sifleet not allowing Harry Morris to break away here. Fastest lap on lap number 2, although it's always going to be quicker than lap 1, which was a standing start lap. Carries a little bit too much speed down the far end at Wilkins though, and taps the rear bumper of Harry Morris in front of him. Dan Burry in third place is just coming to shot now, but has a really big gap back to Thomas Stone as well, that is only going out. Gap was 3/10 at the front, a little under, but now Harry Morris appears to have a little bit more of a gap there, and it's going to be probably, I think, around about a little over half a second this time as he comes round in front of Lionel Sifleet. .01 seconds for Harry Morris in front of Lionel Sifleet. As Morris this time sets the fastest lap, some 8/10 faster than the nearest challenger. A blue flag out for a slow moving kart. I think that's Ian Taylor's 28, is it? Towards Wilkins as we head towards half race distance for Harry Morris. A yellow flag down the far end, and Lionel Sifleet has not come through, and that's why he is currently underneath the Tech Pro barrier and the slow boards are out, full course yellow. Harry Morris is going to have to win this twice. The gap at the timing line was 9 seconds back to Dan Burry, with Lionel Sifleet out of this race down the far end of the circuit. Was comfortable in second with Sifleet, but now finds himself under the Tech Pro barrier down the far end of the circuit. Having slid off, and you've got around about 10 metres to go before you go in them barriers. That just shows you how fast these karts are going. He's going to drag that out. I wonder if he can... No, he can't get it going because he's taking his gloves off. Don't know if he was going to go and see if we can get a push start on that one, but looks like we may well just get it through the gate at the far end. Most of the field coming through there over the start finish line. We're still not backed up behind the leader, who had a 12-second gap when they came through on the previous lap, which was out beyond the 9. So it took him a little while to pick up the slow boards. As you feel behind, currently behind the 28 of Ian Taylor. With us not backed up behind the leader, I'm really intrigued to see whether we go green or not. The leader's up and over the timing line, surely. In fact, there he is on the back straight, I think. Oh, we've got drivers coming together. As we go green, once again, we are away and racing, but not for Thomas Stone. Although he has got going again, Ian Taylor has not. We're trying to get that kart going and roll round. I think he could well be heading off into the pit lane ever so shortly. This is what happened. We went green out of the final corner. Taylor was looking left to try and move over to let the field through. And on his right-hand side was the number 4 of Thomas Stone. Miscommunication, so to speak. And I think we're back to another full course yellow. We are, and I've got a marshal running up towards the far end of the circuit. We've got Boards Gainer out at post 3. Really slow moving kart on the left hand side. I'm just trying to pick out on the timing who we've not got. The tyre is in the way, and I think it could be the 8 of Tony Burry. I'm just going to move and put some tyres behind that. We'll get this race finished, hopefully under a green flag. So time will elapse down to 0 short. Harry Morris has still got a lead somehow after 2 full course yellows of 12 seconds. With Dan Burry in 2nd place, Stuart Henry in 3rd. And we are green once again. So we are away and racing. It won't be the final lap just yet till now, because Harry Morris has caught the back of the field. So both he and Dan Burry are 3.5 seconds apart, but they're in a position where they could lap the entire field here, because under 2 full course yellows have managed to catch up with the slower traffic in front. And there is the 41 of Harry Morris making his way through. Just be careful not to undo all of the hard work that he has done thus far in this race. So half of our field who are still not on, effectively are still just starting their final lap now. But there on the left hand side of your screen, here's your 2026 210 National SuperPrix final winner. It's Harry Morris who takes the victory from Dan Burry. 3rd place is still being argued up at the final, far end of the circuit, which is here between Stuart Henry, David Smith, Tom Stone, who's managed to get back into it. There he is in number 4 after the issues earlier on getting through the lap traffic. Paul Fowler, Ray Sloan. Just being recovered there, but we'll run up towards and all the way around the outside. Is that still Harry Morris still in the race? I don't know if it is, and whether he's seen the checkered flag already. Yep, there's Harry Morris. He's just for good fun, he's just decided to lap a few more people on his way to victory. Harry Morris, who was so good he saw the checkered flag twice, takes the victory from Dan Burry and Stuart Henry. And it's going to be David Smith, Thomas Stone, Paul Fowler, Ray Sloan, Michael Miles and Oliver Shelley in front of John Hutton, Neil Hancock and David Scull, with Ian Taylor, and then your drivers that didn't get to see the checkered flag in Russell Hopes, Tony Burry and Lionel Sifleet in P16. So we'll collect a few of the 210s from out on circuit. Khalif Riado in the chat saying what types of carts, and they were 210 national. We've already seen the 250 super carts out as well. So the 7 is just being wheeled back into pit lane from up there on the grass. That's Russell Hopes who I think was the driver that was off. It wasn't Tony Burry. However, we shall move on very, very quickly to the class that has the first ticket available to the Army Warrior Finals, and that is Formula Libre. James Ogden will start on pole position, then he's got Matthew Swanston alongside Liv Jakins and Lewis Payton in front of Guy Tolley and Matt Venn on route number 3. Rhys Baines and Ashley White in front of Ian Davis and Oliver Bourne, with Piers Armstrong and Ollie Venn on route number 6. Row 7, Jack Crisp and Ben Stanford, with Harpal Baines, Oliver Silvers, Hugo Haynes and Mark Armstrong on route number 9. Row 10 is Jack Stewart in front of Richard Mallinson, Joseph Emmett, Stuart Brearley and Paul Belton. 23 drivers will contest the Formula Libre at Shenington SuperPrix final. A ticket to the Army Warrior Finals 2026 Masters. So the driver who wins has to be over the age of 30 to get the ticket. James Ogden then will lead us to the timing line for this Formula Libre final. We are away and racing into the left-hander of Park Bend. It looks like everybody's got through nice and cleanly. So they make the run up towards the Stratford hairpin. We've got a spin in the pack and there's contact, and that's a very uncomfortable position to park for the 17 up on the top of Rhys Baines. All managed to get going. It could have been Mark Armstrong who was parked. That does say look like a 17, although we don't have a 17. No, we do is Ian Davis, but he's not on the original entry list. He was parked up there, so it was a good start for Ian Davis. We've got stationary yellow, so we haven't gone full yellow. Red flag, that's why we've got red flags waving at the first 2 posts. Reds are out. They really need to slow this down. James Ogden has done now. He's seen the flag at post 3 and has put the anchors on. I think we'll bring the field round, which may well allow the medical team. The gate is open. Into pit lane comes Joseph Emmett in the 67. Whatever it is, get it fixed and get himself back out, because we've got a complete restart here, although the front steering looks a little bit off, given that the front right is straight and the left is off to one side. So a heavily bent front right track rod for Joseph Emmett. As the medical team head out onto track. We will be back in a few moments' time. I think they're heading up. Look at the driver. I think it's Ian Davis. Her field will make their way around. We'll have a complete restart of this final. Mark Allen, I'm stood next to what looks like an X30, but it's not. It's something that's fairly unique to Shenington. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, well, it is actually, you're quite right, it is an X30 senior kart, but we've tailored the rules, called it Libre, and tried to make it cost effective for senior drivers, 16 and upwards. So The kart here is one of our customers. We try not to get people to run in the awnings if possible, because that costs more money. So basically it's an X30 senior kart. The chassis has to be second hand. It can't be a new one. And the engine, you can use any engine you like, but the way it makes it cost effective is we won't allow new tyres. Okay, so the club actually supplies the tyres, and then the drivers, when they enter, they buy the tyres from the club for £30 a set, and they're only allowed 5 sets for the whole season. So your whole season cost of tyres is what one new set would cost. That's the major thing. And there's a couple of other little bits which are good. We like fix the gearing, so you don't need a shed load of chains and sprockets and stuff, and less likely for it to fall off. So that's a fixed cost. You've got a 78 tooth sprocket on the back. And the thing what we thought of as well is obviously some of the drivers these days are quite big, the older drivers, so they struggle to make the weight. So we've tailored it so if you want to run at 162 kilos, you run the junior restrictor, which reduces the horsepower to about 22 horsepower. If you're 84 kilos and above as a driver weight, you can run without the restrictor at 192. And like in qualifying, I think it was a restricted, a non-restricted, and then a restricted. So it's the only class in karting that if you're a big person, you can compete at.
I'm about 89 kilos. I'd be banging for one of these.
That's it. You need one. You know, and it mixes round. Obviously, in the colder weather, maybe the heavier driver gets an advantage, warms the tyres up. But like when it's boiling hot, it swings round. So it's as close as you're going to get when you have a mixed class, isn't it? It's never going to be 100% accurate, but it's pretty close.
And when I've been speaking to Graham, he told me that this is pretty much your brainchild. What drew you to creating a class like this?
Well, when I started racing in the 70s, 90% of the drivers were seniors. Now, when they've kept lowering the age down, you're sort of 35, 40-year-old dad. You know, the wife doesn't mind the lad starting racing, but not so keen on the husband. So the senior racing's dropped off, hasn't it? You know, when you look at the entry, predominantly we're juniors. But with this class, it's brought a lot back because it doesn't cost so much. You know, if you've got your own car, run it yourself, in entry fee and the tyres and your fuel, it's going to cost you 200 quid for the whole weekend. You know, if you're running a team, fully helped, mechanics, awning space, could cost you like nearly 1,000 quid. It's a no-brainer, isn't it? You know, you'll spend 200 quid and think, oh, that's a bit of fun. Spend like 800 or 900 quid. It's not really fun, is it, if it starts going wrong?
Well, that's it. When you're spending nearly £1,000, you want to do well, don't you? That's correct. The thing. So, you know. Whereas with this, you can turn up and you can take that time to progress and get yourself to the front.
Yeah, and then obviously we only do Libra at Shenington, but I mean, if you want to go and race at Wilton Mill or somewhere, you basically get it to the right way to the class, and you put the tyres on for the class, which is the yellow tyre, as you know, where we run it on the junior tyre because it's more durable. So we just sort of, as a team, collate the tyres. They've all done between 50 and 70 laps, mark them up in sets, and then they get another 2 meetings out of them. So we're environmentally friendly, look.
Well, it's all the rage these days, isn't it?
I think apparently. It wasn't in my day, but it does make good use of them because we are throwing a lot of tyres away that some of them we get off teams that donate them to us are just too good.
Yeah.
You know, they've only done like 10 laps. So we give them to junior drivers that are learning to wear them out a bit and then put them in the thing to try and keep it level playing field. So, and the nice thing about it is, I mean, at the dinner dance this year, the money gets generated by the second-hand tyres. We gave away 2,500 quid's worth of prize money.
So time has been reset. We'll have a complete restart of this Formula Libra final. A few drivers not taking part, I don't think, and if they have, they'll have joined round onto the back of the field after the break there with the medic. I think it was Ian Davies, the driver being tended to down the far end of the circuit. So James Ogden will lead us round once again. Matthew Swanston alongside him. There's Payton starts P4 with Jenkins on the inside in second place. In third place, you're hoping to go down the inside the second at the first corner. Gliders are in the sky, but the green flag has dropped, and we are away and racing. And indeed, Jenkins does make a good start, up into second place, up behind James Ogden at the front of this race. Leading duo already with a little bit of a gap back to the field, and that is a wide line for squeezed Ashley White on the outside. Ogden leads then from Jenkins as they begin to pull away even at the end of this opening lap. The prize on offer, albeit it will be for the highest position driver over the age of 30, because it's a ticket to the Miami Warrior Masters finals, which will be part of the full Miami Warrior finals over at Viterbo in Italy, 19th to 24th of October. So we've got some basically tickets, some invites to go, and we've got some full entries as well, which is a prize that's on offer in X30 and junior and senior winners, and then there's the ticket for the drivers in second place as well. Got the same for Miami Water Swift, albeit not the restricted class, that's already taken place. But for Miami Water Swift, we have a ticket to the IWF finals as well. Matthew Swanston there in third place, trying to hold on to his podium position. James Ogden leading Liv Jenkins. Jenkins in the wheel tracks of Ogden at the moment. Ogden unable to break away. So in this train behind, Matthew Swanston has done just that. He's got a little bit of a gap back to Guy Tolley, Matthew Van and Ashley White now. Field hard onto the brakes into the left-hander of the Bruno chicane. Jenkins still nose to tail at the front. 7 minutes of this final plus 1 lap remaining. Good move down the inside by Lewis Payton as he moves through on the 16. Oliver Bourne dropped down the order, but timing's reinstated him back up to P9. Payton up to 7th. Armstrong then down into 8th. That was the driver that Payton went down the inside of into the first corner. So they bounce over the exit curve on of the Stratford hairpin. 2 leaders are 2 seconds if they're good down the road. They'll have their battle a little bit later on if things remain that close, and we'll catch them there in the background as Jenkins follows in the wheel tracks of James Ogden. This is your battle for the final step on the podium as Jenkins puts in the fastest lap. Ogden with a personal best, but Jenkins just a little bit quicker. Swanston, Tolley, Venn, Ashley White, Lewis Payton. This goes down to Jack Stewart. I think they're on the back end of this train of carts. Could even go a little bit further. Jack Crisp in P11. Bourne again just gets reinstated on timing. His transponder has failed. It's coming up on the timing sheet. It's down the inside goes Oliver Bourne this time. I think that's on Lewis Payton. still as we were at the front. Keep an eye. No, we had a little change there. Liv Jenkins now leads from James Ogden, Matthew Swanston, Guy Tolley, Matt Venn, Ashley White, Oliver Bourne, Pierce Armstrong, Lewis Paynton, Jack Stewart. Swanston still has that little bit of a gap that he's had pretty much throughout. Behind though, we're going to move down the inside. That looked like it was Matt Venn on Guy Tolley. Switched around again for the lead as James Ogden goes back in front of Liv Jenkins. We're 3 wide up and round Park Bend. With Tolley, Bourne and Venn now. There is Matt Venn in all white suit, white helmet, currently running in P6. Actually White just behind, another driver in the all white helmet, this time in the black suit now in the purple and pink coloured machine. Leaders still have that gap of 3 seconds or so, having swapped round. A number of occasions so far in this race. Three minutes on the clock. Liv Jenkins still trying to find a way past James Ogden and make it stick. She led for a lap earlier on, and then Ogden got back through. And there is, oh, I thought we were going down the inside there for Liv Jenkins. Didn't lose a lot of time in having to slam the anchors on either. Just eyeing up James Ogden in a slightly different place to where she originally did the overtake. Keep it on his toes, and exactly on the toes there as Liv Jenkins dives down the inside into the left-hander of the Bruno chicane. And James Ogden did not see that coming. 2 minutes now for Jenkins to hold on. 0.4 of a second is the gap. She's had a target in front of her for most of this race, with the exception of that lap that she led earlier on. Now it's Ogden with the target in front. That gap is going out, despite the fact that Ogden was faster through sector 1, Jenkins was faster by 0.3 of a second through sector 2, which is the sector in which she did the overtake on the previous lap into the Bruno chicane. We've had a change for third place as well, I think. Timing is showing Oliver Bourne is up into third place. Well, confirm that shortly, but we'll have 2 laps to go at the end of this one. Again, Ogden faster in sector 1. Jenkins, though, faster in sector 2 as this swings between one and the other. Bourne is indeed up into third place. Matthew Swanston then down into fourth, having held that position for a long time. Gap is out once again as Jenkins goes faster through sector 3. Two laps to go for Liv Jenkins to hold on here. This is your battle for third, and the final step on the podium between Oliver Bourne and Matthew Swanston. been a great battle going on behind here. It's just where we've had that battle for third down to about seventh, we've missed the train of carts behind. Having their battle, Jenkins onto the final lap. Gap goes out to 0.7 of a second at the front. Bourne and Swanston still battling out over the final step of the podium. Bourne, having started this final in 10th place, looks like he could end the day with a trophy in hand. I'm sure Matthew Swanston would quite like that to be a slightly different story. Out onto the hanger straight they go. The leaders, though, will be heading towards Wilkins for the final time, and out of the final corner, Liv Jenkins wins Formula Libre at the 26th SuperPrix from James Ogden and Oliver Bourne, Matthew Swanston, Matt Venn and Ashley White, with Guy Tolley, Jack Stewart, Pierce Armstrong and Lewis Payton completing your top 10 in front of Chris Venn, Baines, Stanford, Armstrong, Haynes, Belton, Silvers, Mallinson and Stewart Brearley will cross the line. But your 2026 Shenington SuperPrix Formula Libre champion will be the 48 of Liv Jenkins, who found a way through on James Ogden once, couldn't make it stick, had to think about it, had a go into Cafe Corner that didn't quite work out, and then a lap and a half later sent it down the inside into the Bruno chicane. A decisive move gives Liv Jenkins the 2026 SuperPrix. Kart goes onto the weigh scale. Just waiting for the final confirmation, the nervous weight that not lost too much during the race. But Jenkins will push the 48 through into the scrutineering bay. I'm sure in a few moments' time we'll try and find the mechanic and go to celebrate, but she looks fairly blasé about the whole matter. Liv Jenkins then takes the victory in Formula Libre. There we go. Next up then, it's time for Rotax Inter as they make their way out onto track. Maximilian Abrahart then will start on pole position. Alfie Phillipson alongside with Ethan Manzi and Charlie Heffer in front of Will Eden and Arthur Kayser. Sam Dixon will start P7. Adam Batt alongside him with Finley Rhodes and William Moore completing your top 10. Jay Birmingham and Alicia Waterhouse are going to be on row number 6. Felix Sheldon Haywood, Ben Hunt, Noah Hobson and Thomas Laidler with Jake Hansford and Seiko Komatsu on row number 9. Row 10 will be William Davidson with Jamal Kamaram in front of Daniel Halls and Roshan Bakada with Emery's Perry on row number 12. Into the tram lines of this 10-minute plus 1 lap final we go then. Maximilian Abrahart leads us away as the lights go out and we are away and racing. They'll head up towards the first corner. And a good start there, I think, by Charlie Heffer, who's gone all the way around the outside of the first corner to slot himself up into third place in front of the believed to be Ethan Manzi, as we've got a spin down the far end of Emery's Perring going round the Stratford hairpin. Abrahart, Phillipson, Heffer, Manzi, Will Eden. There's been a good start by Sam Dixon, who's up into P6 there in the KR Sport colours with the yellow helmet. Field works its way through. He may well have track position in the run up towards the first corner. Does not. Slots back into that 6th place. Abrahart, Phillipson, Heffer, Manzi, Eden, Dixon, Back, Moore, Kaiser, Rowe. In front of Birmingham, Hobson, Laidler, Hunt and Sheldon Haywood, 15. Again, the two leaders will be fairly compliant, I think, if they can stay closer together. Max Abrahart with a look over the shoulder. Jimmy at the front are pulling away. It looks like Ethan Manzi has moved back into that 3rd place. And Sam Dixon's up past Will Eden as well. So a few other changes further down. We've got William Moore and Arthur Kaiser up a place each. Adam back down 1 to P9 from P7 on the previous lap. Similar circumstances for Laidler and Hunt and Hobson dropping 2. They're up to 12th and 13th respectively. Hobson goes 12th to 14th in the space of a lap. Abrahart and Phillipson, the top two. Phillipson with the fastest lap on the previous lap, trying to push along. This time, though, it's Ethan Manzi, who's only a fraction quicker mind than the two in front. It's Jay Birmingham there in the 41. And that is Abrahart defending Alfie Phillipson. And I wonder if he's now trying to back him into the field here. They've not been successful in breaking away beyond where they were on the opening lap when Charlie Heffer had got past Ethan Manzi. And I do wonder now whether Max Abrahart is going to change the tactics slightly, particularly on that run up towards the Stratford hairpin. Top 4 are pretty much nose to tail. Charlie Heffer's coming back into this. Ethan Manzi with the fastest lap that time round. Sam Dixon is in a bit of a risk of being cut adrift here in P5, but would quite like to see them scrapping as Alfie Phillipson does go down the inside of Maximilian Abrahart. Abrahart's going to run up side by side with Phillipson there, back through as well. Great racing, but as I mentioned earlier, not the fastest when they're scrapping, and it's very early in the race for these drivers to be going at it like this. Abrahart, Phillipson, Manzi. Heffer's there as well. Sam Dixon and Will Eden are going side by side, and Eden is through. Dixon's back on the outside as they run up towards the right-hander. Again, those two could do with not having a massive scrap, because they're going to back themselves in. I think they already have, into Adam Back, William Moore, Rhodes, Kaiser, and a few others as well, rather than going after this 4 in front that will have a squabble in due course. 5 minutes and 20 to go in this Jag Rotax and IKD Kart Store sponsored Intermax final here at the SuperPrix. Dixon is back through on Will Eden for 5th place in the background. Phillipson is once again going to go down the inside of Maximilian Abrahart. Abrahart again is going to switch back the inside. This time it's done before the Bruno chicane. Ethan Manzi and Charlie Heffer. What are the chances of the 3 Coles Racing drivers handing this one to the 66 of Charlie Heffer? That would be a frosty environment down there if that happened. I'm sure, though, they will all be on their best behaviour. Dixon is now clear in 5th place. William Moore is up, I think, into 6th, having crossed the line in 8th place, as this time Aberhart will take a much more defensive line on Alfie Phillipson. Phillipson, who's had 2 goes at that already, and see Jay Birmingham there under pressure from Felix Sheldon Hayward for P13. Contact warning for the 33 of Adam Batt. Aberhart still continues to lead. Plenty of this race to go though. Top 4 are pulling away, even with the scraps they've been having from the rest of the field. Dixon looking lonely in 5th at the moment, but comfortable. Was the same, he was faster than the train behind him. The only driver, in fact, making any sort of time in roads was Will Eden, who moved himself over place and gained some time back up into P8. Phillipson thinks going to have to find a different corner, a lot like Liv Jenkins did in the previous race, because this run up towards Stratford is now being heavily guarded by a suspicious Maximilian Aberhart. He knows the move's coming. It's happened to him twice with Alfie Phillipson. Phillipson's going to have to find somewhere else, whether that's down here at Wilkins or diving down the inside into the Bruno. The next 2.5 minutes or so plus 1 lap will tell us. There for me, I think, is an opportunity into the first corner, or into the second corner effectively at Cafe, but getting a good run round the first corner. Said earlier on that Sam Dixon looked like he was comfortable in 5th, but he's been reeled in the background by William Moore, Adam Batt and Will Eden. There he is in the yellow helmet, but he's coming under some increasing pressure from the rest of the field. Stay with this leading quartet at the front though. Heifer at the moment in that 4th place has just been in a watching brief on that Infinity X chassis. This time no defensive line from Aberhart, but Phillipson does not take advantage. Whether Aberhart felt that he had enough of a gap to go down the inside there. Contact warning for Sam Dixon. He's lost a few places with P5. I think he's now finding himself down in 7th. On timing at least. Haven't managed to clock his track position throughout this lap. Three laps to go. Leaders crossing the line in plenty of time. Phillipson down the inside of Aberhart, and this time he's got it done, and he's made it stick as well. Oh, wide and off on the outside goes Charlie Heifer. He'll remain in 4th, but he's out of contention for a podium. It could well be a Coles 1, 2, 3, but in what order? Here's the question on everybody's lips at the moment. Phillipson, Aberhart and Manzi. They'll cross the timing line with 3 seconds on the clock. The door left open by Alfie Phillipson. Sees Maximilian Aberhart go back down the inside. And Aberhart will defend this time in the run up towards the Stratford hairpin. Ethan Manzi's going to try and take advantage and get the run. He can't get it done. With the exit out of the corner. And Max Abrahart will lead us up towards the hairpin at Wilkins. That's a very, very wide line by Abrahart. I'm sure he'll take a defensive one up and over the start-finish line. Will Phillips try and get alongside all the way around the outside and dive down the inside into the right-hander for the first corner. They've got to manage to get a switch back as they head up through the static camera. Phillipson will be on the outside. Abrahart's still got track position on the inside. Ethan Manzi in the background is there in the mix as well, trying to pick up some pieces as he tags the rear end of Alfie Phillipson up towards the Bruno chicane for the final time. Phillipson needs a good exit out of this corner to gain from the slipstream. Abrahart doesn't feel the need to defend. There's a kart length or two between them as they come up towards the final corner at Wilkins. So they head up towards the timing line, and it's going to be Maximilian Abrahart who wins the SuperPrix from Alfie Phillipson and Ethan Manzi. Charlie Heffer, William Moore, rest of the field come through with Willie Eden, Adam Batt, Arthur Kaiser, Thomas Laidler and Sam Dixon in P10, with Ben Hunt, Noah Hobson, Jay Birmingham and Alicia Waterhouse in P14. Felix Sheldon Hayward, Jamal Pumaram in front of Seiko Komatsu, Will Davidson, Jake Hansford and Daniel Horse. Roshan Bakada, Emery's Perrin crossing the line there, and retiring just before the end was the 36 of Finley Rhodes. There's your winner. Helmet already off for the 61 of Maximilian Abrahart. Max Abrahart doing what every good winner should do, and that's find the camera to celebrate his victory as he heads back into the Parc Ferme area where he's just been weighed. Next up though, we're going to move on because it's a full capacity grid for Junior Rotax. Noah Moulton then will lead the juniors round, with Benjamin Lawn joining him on the front row, Ryan Rapini and Liam Dowling on row number 2. Then it's going to be Oscar Keane and Miles Cleworth on row 3, Cash Harris and Charlie White in front of Harrison Bishop and Teddy Cooper. JJ Plowman starts in P11, Hayden Adams alongside Carmuth Cometa and Jensen Powers. Louis Marshall will start on the inside of row 8 with Noah Clare for company, Stanley Williams and Harry Harvey on row number 9. Row 10 is Zane Perry and Harry Myatt, Waldron, Jacob Underhill, Odeus Hole, Lily Shaw, Lewis Gilbert are on row number 12. Alex Shepherd, Ben Morgan, Jensen Hookie, Jack Bowie, Toby Dukes, and go all the way down to the drivers that made it through that B final. 34 drivers. We're away in racing as we head up towards the first corner. And then round Cafe. So far everybody's made it through nicely round Cafe corner. A few drivers running off the track on the exit on using the grass, but at the moment all still facing forwards, and that's Ryan Rapini down the inside. We've got drivers perched up on top of each other on the outside of the corner. That's 2 out already. They may well get going, but their chances of victory have gone. As Ryan Rapini made the early move down the inside on Moulton, but it looks like it's neither of them leading the way as we come up towards the timing line. In fact, it is Noah Moulton. He's got past Ryan Rapini, Benjamin Lord, but to switch back round and Moulton behind Rapini, but indeed it's not. Moulton with Maxim Motorsport, Benjamin Lawn with Coles Racing, Rapini and KX Developments. More grass getting kicked up on the outside. 3 wide down the runway straight towards the Bruno chicane. Rapini under pressure there from Oscar Keane in the 37, who was missing on the timing, but is now back up and being shown correctly in the 4th place last time across the timing light. Moulton then will lead, the gap going out further to Benjamin Lawn now in second place. Ryan Rapini, Oscar Keane and Cash Harris. Charlie White, Teddy Cooper, Karthik Kumeta with Harrison Bishop and Hayden Adams. Warning for Benjamin Lawn. Both of our two front runners, Moulton and Lawn, both have had warnings so far in this race, and we are only on lap number 3. Two drivers on the opening lap was Miles Cleworth, I think, and Liam Dooling that were perched up on top of each other. We've got Ben Morgan being shown a lap down. Hasn't tripped the timing line yet. And, looks like these just come through now as Ben Morgan is not clocking on timing for some reason, but still at the front. Lawn 2/10 quicker than Moulton on the previous lap. Rapini then leads this train of 4, Keane, Harris and White. Contact warning for Miles Cleworth. He's down the order at the moment. The opening lap fracas. Lawn is faster again through sector 1. Moulton though through sector 2 was 42 going slowly of Louis Marshall. And a warning for the 141 of Noah Clare at the same time. Fastest lap though set by the 33 of Jensen Huckey. Started 27, currently P13. Why did he start 27? That's because he had a technical infringement yesterday and didn't pick up any points for one of his heats. His performance in the other heat though, enough to get him straight through into the A final. Clearly a driver that's got some pace in him. Driver that came through Honda Cadet and now plying his trade in junior road tax as Jensen Huckey. So Kart in with a damaged exhaust. The sound is anything to go by. I think it could well be Harry Harvey. And with the exhaust issue. Moulton, Lawn, Rapini, Keane, the top 3. It's all starting to come back a little bit together as Moulton, with that gap of 0.3 of a second, sort of sways between sort of 0.2 and 0.4, depending on whereabouts they are on the track. There's a hundredth of a second lap time between Noah Moulton and Benjamin Lawn on that previous lap. 43.28 to 43.29 for your leading duo. Apologies down the far end, we appear to be having a bit of a fibre issue picking up that camera. It does go a bit offline every now and again, but we'll try our best to get through. And Stanley Williams now in P13 picks up the fastest lap as it stands. Trophies and prizes for fastest lap in each class as down the inside goes Benjamin Lawn for the lead. Good move by Lawn there on Moulton. Moulton coming back at him, and off the track at the moment is Benjamin Lawn, and they're preoccupied with each other. So much so that there goes Ryan Rapini down the inside. Moulton's back to 6th. Having bounced over the curb on the outside, not quite sure what took him out there because he was on the track when he came through the right-hander. Benjamin Lawn down the inside of Ryan Rapini, having ran off the track at the Bruno chicane. And all of a sudden, what was a 2-kart battle for the lead with Ryan Rapini watching on is now going to be a 6-kart battle, I think, for the lead, all the way down to Noah Moulton. Let's not discount Teddy Cooper and Jensen Powers either. Ryan Rapini is back down the inside of Benjamin Lawn. It'll be hard on the inside as they Oh, sort of come together into each other's rear bumper. And that's not a 6-kart battle for the lead now. That will go all the way down to around about P10, and Jensen Hookey's in the mix as well there, having started this race in P27. The black and green kart will have liked how this race has unfolded in front of him. Can you blame him with 2 minutes and 40 on the clock? Trying to hold off Benjamin Lawn. Cash Harris is there as well in third place. Keane White, Cooper, Moulton, Cometa behind Powers, but in front of Jensen Hookey, who sets the fastest lap. Wide on the outside went Oscar Keane. I think he was hoping for a switchback but couldn't do it because there was a kart in the way. Ryan Rapini now has a little bit of a gap. Cash Harris picks up a warning. Looking over the timing light. Rapini with the lead. Cooper now up into second, but that front fairing looks like it's done some hard yards. Made up 2 places in that one. Mechanical flag for Liam Dooling. His day will come to a premature end, unfortunately, for the 73. He was involved in an incident earlier on. Not quite sure what the issue is. Rear bumper still attached, so I can only imagine chain guard potentially for Liam Dooling. Ryan Rapini, though, has a gap of half a second to his KX teammate of Teddy Cooper. Benjamin Lawn and Noah Moulton, long-time race leaders in the early part of this race, currently third and fourth. White and Cometa with Cash Harris, Jensen Powers, Hayden Adams and Alex Shepherd. So many drivers that started well down the order are running inside the top 15 as Benjamin Lawn goes down the inside to Teddy Cooper. Still got time though now to try and catch Ryan Rapini. Shepherd in 10th, started 25th. Hookey 12th, started 27th. Lawn with the helmet tap. It's clearly contagious because Teddy Cooper did one as well to Noah Moulton just behind him. 2 laps to go. Ryan Rapini leads, but Benjamin Lawn was 0.3 of a second faster on that previous lap. And he's dragging Cooper, Moulton and White along with him as well. Down the inside goes Teddy Cooper though on Benjamin Lawn. That's allowed Noah Moulton through, but more importantly at the front has allowed Ryan Rapini to pull out a gap that's going to be unassailable for me. That's half a second, and with 1 lap to go, the rest of the field I think are going to be relying on a mistake from a driver that doesn't really make many mistakes when he's out at the front. Ryan Rapini leads, and given that we are defending for second place, Teddy Cooper parking the kart on the inside is trying to hold on to P2. Benefits Ryan Rapini greatly. He tries to hold off Noah Moulton, Benjamin Lawn and Charlie White. Up towards the right-hander at Wilkins, Ryan Rapini powers down and powers to the 2026 SuperPrix final victory in front of Teddy Cooper and Noah Moulton, with Benjamin Lawn and Charlie White the top 5. Karthik Cometa, Jensen Powers, Alex Shepherd and Stanley Williams in front of Jensen Hookey, who goes from 27th to 10th in that final. Alex Shepherd 25th to 8th for the driver of the 85. Ryan Rapini exits the kart stage left to be congratulated by Teddy Cooper and by Noah Moulton as well. They go at it hammer and tongs whilst out on track, but they are very respectful of each other's abilities post-race. Ryan Rapini on the weigh scale, gets the thumbs up. We'll push the cart through to the scrutineering area. But he is your 2026 Shenington SuperPrix Junior Rotax final winner. That's the congratulations of other drivers as well. Seniors, however, are already out on track. We're not wasting any time here at Shenington. 1 in, 1 out. It's time for senior Rotax. Harrison Crowther and William Webb then on the front row. Joshua Smith and Drew Prisner in front of Joshua Turnbull and Will Forber on row number 3. Row 4, Jarek Metters and Noosh Safa Leathers, with Charles Sutton and Dylan Brearley in front of Bertie Wellesley and Max Chown on row number 6. Row 7, Ryan Sayers and Freddie Snelly, Charlie Epgrave and Abby Sanders, with Tobian Alvarez and Ethan Martin on row 9. Rossi Costello and Oliver Bamford Sr., with Tom Notting and Christopher Hughes and Marissa Teague in front of George Cole. Max Lorna-Bennett, Ethan Griffiths, Alex Veyer. Get through the rest of the field? Never, because we are away and racing in Senior Max. Oh, we've got drivers in the background coming together already before the timing line. Things didn't quite work out for 1 or 2 of them. At the front, though, Harrison Crowther leads from William Webb on the run up towards the Stratford hairpin. Most of the field trying to get towards the inside. Few going wide round the outside, but they're round Stratford fairly comfortably for most of our drivers. Up towards the Bruno chicane. Still 2 and 3 wide further down the order, but the leading 6 are away as they move for second place. Good move down the inside, that's Joshua Smith. Up into second place on William Webb, Turnbull, Metters and Forber are the 6 in that camera shot. Gap back then to Charles Sutton, Dylan Brearley and Max Chown. Bertie Wellesley, Drew Prisner from 4th down to 11th on the opening lap. It was a tough break for the 19. Joshua Turnbull going down the inside of William Webb for 3rd place. Indeed it was. Potentially going to get shuffled back a little bit further there as Jarek Metters tries to get through, although we have got a yellow, hence why Metters decided to slot back in behind the driver there on the outside, and I think that could well have been Tobian Alvarez. Stationary, I think it was. He's not tripped the timing line, nor has the 45 of Abby Sanders. That was the driver that was off on the opening lap that pulled through and parked up on the far side of Marshall's post 1. Crowther, Webb, Turnbull. The top 3 at the moment. Coles Evolution, Coles. Gap back then to Joshua Smith and Jarek Metters. Rossi Costello down the inside to gain a place on the on Charlie Epgrave there. And at the front, it's going to be Coles and Coles, I think, at the moment, because that is a move down the inside by Joshua Turnbull. William Webb has done well to hold on to that. I don't think Harrison Crowther, when they went onto this lap, Crowther and Webb had a gap of nearly 0.4 of a second, and get the feeling that Webb's gone down the inside, and he's levered wide down at the far end there by Joshua Turnbull, and that's allowed both Smith and Metters through. Neither driver there really benefiting. There's a warning from Adam White. Crowther then leads from Smith and Metters. Metters, though, will lose a place, I think, to Turnbull. Left the door open down the far end, but was sort of hoping the rest of them would sort of follow suit, not lose the time to those in front. Turnbull's picked up a contact warning for the previous lap, almost certainly here. As down the inside there goes Will Forber and tips himself into a bit of a spin, and there's what could I think can only be described as carnage going on down at the far end. That's some shot. That's a curve on Cafe Corner. Metters will be on the outside here, but manages to drive round the outside of William Webb. Crowther and then Joshua Smith. The gap's nearly 0.8 of a second, which, when you're a driver of Harrison Crowther's calibre, should really be enough. But Smith and Turnbull, no slouches at all. Just to prove that point, Smith and Crowther, 100th of a second between them on lap times on that previous lap. Jarek Metters and William Webb go side by side in the run up towards the left-hander at pit bend, and William Webb finally gets that move done. Charles Sutton in the background, he's trying to get through on Jarek Metters as well. Metters there in the yellow with the red suit for Tom Day Racing. Gap's out slightly. Please, Harrison Crowther, no end. Turnbull is under investigation. That came in around about 2 minutes ago, and I wonder if that's for the contact with William Webb potentially down at the far end of the circuit, down at Wilkins corner there, coming up to now in this right-hand hairpin, sort of hockey stick shaped corner. Start turning it. The right-hander at Hangman, never really straighten up the wheel until you're turning left. And up and over the timing line. Gap is down by 0.2 of a second at the front of this race. There's Turnbull on Joshua Smith for second. As Turnbull put in the fastest lap, he was faster than Smith, and then in turn, Smith was faster than Crowther. Crowther with a look over the shoulder. We'll now see that it's Joshua Turnbull behind him. Turnbull will hope that Smith doesn't come back at him in the next lap or so. Again, a 10th quicker. Turnbull fastest driver through sector 1. Crowther the fastest through sector 2, both on that previous lap. Turnbull faster in the opening few corners of this lap. Needs a little bit more though. Still got time, 3 minutes on the clock. Senior Rotax final. Crowther stems the tide a little bit there by matching Turnbull's lap time to within 100th of a second. Jarek Metters under pressure here from Drew Preisner. Preisner down the inside. Metters will drive all the way around the outside, but slowed both of them down slightly. This is your battle for P5. Preisner in 6th. A little bit of a gap back then to Sutton and Chown, Wellesley and Griffiths as well. Seven-tenths of the gap, down to 6th. Turnbull needs more. He's keeping the pressure on Harrison Crowther. Needs to get within a few tenths so that Crowther then can start defending. At the moment, Crowther's taking the optimum line, is keeping the pace up. Webb in 4th is lonely. This is the battle for behind with Metters, Preisner, Sutton, Chown in the black and silver kart. taking the wider of the lines of the four because he's not under any sort of threat. Gap for the lead down by another tenth, half a second. As it stands, they'll be round about 2/10 apart on the final lap. Will that be enough for Crowther to have to defend from Joshua Turnbull in the same way that Jarek Netters is having to defend P5 from Prisner, Sutton, Chown down to P8? Leaders well up and coming into this camera shot now. And it's still Harrison Crowther by half a second. He won't mind that. Whilst it's certainly not home and dry, he's holding firm at half a second and the lap times are ticking away. It will be 0 at the end of this lap. With a lap to go then. Crowther, Turnbull, Smith, Webb, Metters, Prisner, Sutton, Chown, Griffith, Wellesley in P10, Tom Nottingham, Rossi, Costello. Both drivers coming up from the periphery of the 20th, with Nottingham up from 21st to 11th. Costello now in 13th but started 19th. So Ethan Griffiths has been the big mover, 17 places, 29 up to P9. They managed to make it round before the time elapsed to 0. That gives Joshua Turnbull a lap and a half to close up on Harrison Crowther. Drew Prisner still trying to find a way past Jarek Metters. I'm not sure we've got our camera down the far end of the circuit at the moment. It's working on that, but with a lap to go, Harrison Crowther still has that gap of half a second from Joshua Turnbull and Joshua Smith. 1 second between the three. And Joshua Turnbull sat perfectly between the two of them. Out of the Bruno chicane, the leaders making their way down towards the final corner and then back towards the timing line. It's going to be Harrison Crowther. Crowther wins the SuperPrix from Joshua Turnbull and Joshua Smith. William Webb in P4. There's Jarek Metters, who's worked hard for that P5, holding off Drew Prisner, Charles Sutton, Max Chown, Ethan Griffith and Bertie Wellesley in P10. Nottingham, Safa Leathers, Costello and Epgrave with Sayers and Declan Luff finishing in P16. Will Forber, George Cole, Oliver Gibson and Alex Vazier in the top 20 in front of Max Lorna Bennick, Harvey Quick, Oliver Bamford Senior in P23. Christopher Hughes, Marissa Teague, Daniel Kateov, and then Ethan Martin, Connor Tubby, Freddie Snelling, Kian Eastick and Dylan Brearley. Adam White didn't see the checker, neither did Tobias Alvarez or Abby Sanders. Your top three though, Harrison Crowther, Joshua Turnbull, Joshua Smith. As the three of them debrief the senior Rotax final, but it will be Harrison Crowther who will take the winner's trophy. Next up then, with three finals to go here from the 2026 Shenington SuperPrix. There's an iArmy Warrior Finals full ticket and an E-plate on offer in iArmy Water Swift. Twelve drivers, one prize. Harry Chapman starts on pole position. Rudra Gogolnath alongside, struggled to get away in heat number 2. Can he do better this time round? Had to fight his way through, but then ran out of time at the end. Felix Booker and Cody Vertigan, who challenged Harry Chapman in that previous race. Ollie Kindflelter and Will Bennett will go off the third row. Dimitar Uzanov and Travis Giddings with Max Frisbee and Theo Tayak, Joshua Kyneton and Noah Howe will complete your 12 runners. Field making their way out then. Chapman late out the gate. He was the last one. No. In fact, he wasn't. There was one more. Joshua Knighton struggling to get away as well, but Chapman will need to get a march on here. And I wonder if that's why Rudra Gogolnath has gone off very, very quickly, knowing that Chapman was struggling to get away. So field going slowly. Chapman is in position. Gogolnath alongside on the outside. Gogolnath keen to get away. Chapman won't let them until it's time, and then powers down now as they head up towards the timing line. Chapman leads us over up around the first corner towards the right-hander again. Gogolnath has struggled to get away cleanly off that outside row and will fall back to 5th place in the run up towards the Stratford hairpin. We'll try and make a move back down for P4 in the dark yellow and black suit, but it's Chapman once again being pursued by Cody Vertigan. Dayticker Angler saying camera work is shocking. Well, we're having a few technical problems. It's less about the camera work and more about which ones we've got available. So we are trying to deal with it the best we can. It is what it is, and I'll try and talk through as much of it as possible, both on and off camera. Support coming in from Alison Vertigan for Cody, who currently sits in 2nd place, pursuing the leader, Harry Chapman, as they run up towards the Stratford hairpin. Vertigan, if it's anything like the second heat, will be content to try and push Harry Chapman away early on from Will Bennett and Rudra Gogolnath. Gogolnath, I don't think will sit in that 4th place for too long. He'll have eyes on 3rd. Where that comes, because wide goes Will Bennett, and it's lost them both a little bit of time there. And I think Gogolnath will try and make the move sooner rather than later. Swarming all over the back of William Bennett. Run up towards the Stratford hairpin. Chapman's got a bit of a gap now to Cody Vertigan. It's a late move down the inside, and one that hasn't quite worked out for William Bennett. Carried a lot of speed in there. Gogolnath now asking Felix Booker to play ball. At the front though, Harry Chapman is starting to pull away from Cody Vertigan. Gap's going to be nearly a second at the end of this lap. Vertigan, who was able to go with Chapman in the second heat, kept him very, very honest in that race. He's being reeled in, and I think in a moment inevitably overtaken by Rudra Gogolnath. Moving off and out back up into 4th place, having started in 7th. Felix Booker in P5, Theo Tayak Max Frisbee. Then it's Travis Gillings, Ollie Kleinfeldt and William Bennett recovering from that trip across the grass down the far end of the circuit at Wilkins. Uzanoff's going to manage to get past Gogolnath on this lap, and Cody Vertigan as well. Chapman is away here at the front. Uzanoff though with the fastest lap was a tenth faster, and now he's got clear air in a gap of 1.3 seconds. Can Dimitar Uzanoff reel in Harry Chapman? I'm feeling that Chapman could well have just been holding a little bit back, needing to expend all of the energy at the front. Change for third as Gogolnath goes down the inside of Vertigan. Now sees whether Vertigan can push him off the back of Uzanoff. Gap is 1.3 again between the two leaders. The last lap, 100th between the two of them, Chapman and Uzanoff. But more importantly, the overall gap is 1.3 seconds. Harry Chapman and Dimitar Uzanoff. Uzanoff has had to come through from 7th place. To be fair to Rudra Gogolnath, has had to do pretty much the same. He dropped down to P5 on the opening lap, having started this race in that yellow kart from the outside of the front row. He now sets the fastest lap of the race, some quarter of a second faster than the leader. Chapman was a tenth and a half. 4 minutes to go in this final, still plenty of time. But they've got to, really got to work together to try and reel in Harry Chapman, who at the front of this race is looking comfortable at the moment. Even though Uzanoff and Gogolnath are a little bit faster lap on lap at present, they're not fast enough when you add them all up lap on lap that they get anywhere near Harry Chapman at the end. They need to work together. Another tenth of a second for Uzanoff and Gogolnath. Vertigan, Tyack, Booker, you're 3 behind. Leaders on his own. Next train has 2. Train behind has 3. If I'm not mistaken, the train behind that has 4. Like a Christmas tree of karting. Gap's down slightly to around a second. It'll be giving Uzanoff and Gogolnath a bit of hope. They can reel in Harry Chapman. Vertigan's chance of a podium is slipping away lap on lap. Fastest lap earlier on by Gogolnath. On that previous lap, they were both again slightly faster than Harry Chapman. They've stepped it up from that point where I was saying that a tenth of lap wasn't enough. They're now taking 2, 3, 4 tenths on that previous lap for Dimitar Uzanoff. Look over the shoulder from Chapman, that's nerves creeping in. Full ticket to the Army Warrior finals at stake here. 2 minutes and 1 lap to go. The gap's down to 3 tenths of a second. They're reeling him in at the front. Again, another look over the shoulder by Chapman. Every look over the shoulder is another bit of inspiration to Uzanoff and Gogolnath. As Chapman then goes wide down at the Stratford hairpin. There'll be nose to tail, I think, by the time they get to the Bruno chicane. And 0.3 of a second will split the three leaders. Three laps to go. O'Connor goes wide, oozing off on the inside. Will try and move to get the switch back, but Chapman's got it covered. Behind we've got Tyak and Butler. And Booker going at it for P4. Vertigan has fallen away. Not with those two anymore, he's half a second or so back. Chapman oozing off, Gokul in top three. 2 laps to go. And Chapman again continues to defend from Dimitar Uzanov. Sawyer Henderson, who watched, well, who's taken part already in Honda, is wide. There goes Uzanov. Trying to get the run on Harry Chapman, and that may well allow Rundra Gogolnath to get the run round the outside. He slots back in. Henderson watching and supporting Harry Chapman, who's leading this race. X30's up next, as Sebastian G says in the commentary, in the live chat. More love coming in from Ricky Williams for Harry Chapman. As they head up towards Wilkins for the penultimate time. Next time round, they'll have the checkered flag waiting for them. Time is at 0. Final lap. Harry Chapman, Dimitar Uzanov, Rudra Gogolnath. Who's getting that Army Warrior Finals full ticket? Around pit bend, and I can guarantee it that Chapman will hug that inside white line. Gokulnath's again going to take the wide line and try and get the cut back. Uzanov's on the inside as they run up towards the Bruno chicane, and through goes Dimitar Uzanov. He's going to lead onto the back straight, onto the hanger straight for the final time, and Chapman is defending the second place. Uzanov's going to lead half a lap, but it's going to be the most important half a lap. Chapman into the back of Uzanov. Chapman's down the inside. Uzanov's back on the inside. Chapman's going to win it on track. That will almost certainly get looked at. Chapman, Uzanov and Gogolnath on track. Tyak, Booker, Bennett and Vertigan in front of Giddings. Kleinfelter, Frisbee, Knighton and Howe in a final lap that had absolutely everything. Dimitar Uzanov with the switchback that got him the run down the back straight towards the Bruno chicane. He was through down the inside. Gokulnath gets out to console Dimitar Uzanov, who sits in his kart. Now will rise out of it. He's finished second on track. Work to do for those off it, that is for sure. Again, no time to digest. We waste no time here at Shenington Kart Club. Out on track already. More tickets on up for grabs. It's time for Junior X30. Jake Flewitt then on pole position. Finley Hines will be alongside him. Archie Rogers-Tyler and Max Mason in front of Alfie Taylor and Zach Turner on row number 3. Row 4, Adam Bourne and James Backwith, Jack Baker and Louis Barker with Seth Angus and Ryan Meta on row number 6. Row 7 will be Millen Tomlinson and George Quinlan, Archie Lee Bullock and Connor Large, Jack Wish and Sam Mott are on row number 9. Tom Fox, Harry Watson, Katie Clark, Logan Lauder, Katie Donaldson and Henry Duncan are on row 12. Josh Bundock, William Haynes, Izzy White, Molly Mizzen, and we are going to go racing here in our Junior X30. One or two drivers there. It's a false start flag. Yes, we've got a false start. Unsurprising, if I'm being honest. It was a little bit messy in the mid-pack. The leader got the power down. Won't do them any harm at all to get some additional heat in those tyres. So yeah, we had Molly Mizzen in P28, 29th will be Harrison Maxwell. P30 Ethan Windsor with Ayrton Lima Evans in front of Lucas Murray, Jacob Nahn and Conrad Barton. Barton, who would drop to P34. I think he won the repechage, but I think there might have been a tramline infringement at the start for Conrad Barton. He was the driver that was straight down the middle of the front row from 3rd place. So Iami X30 Junior. The winner will get a full ticket. The runner-up will get a place in the final for the Iami Warriors, and we are away in racing this time. No, we're not away in racing. We've got false start flags again. I think they're just powering down a little bit too early. Still got 80% of the field coming round the final hairpin, but powering down, and it's a bit of youthful impatience here from the juniors. So field being slowed. Now we just need the formation to be in place. We may well be getting there. This is a little bit tidier. We've got a slow-moving kart at the halfway down the Hanger Straight. It's Tom Fox, who should have started in P19. This looks a little bit tidier. We're in the tram lines and we do get green this time. There's no false start on the way in racing. Oh, we've got a kart going up and high and into the barrier. How that didn't go up and over for Louis Barker, I've no idea. He's in the tyre wall on the outside. Driver remains in the kart. We'll see what happens, but they'll run up towards the Stratford hairpin for the first time. And already heading back into the back straight, into the Bruno chicane. Here's Jake Flewitt, your leader. Driver still in the kart on the outside. Slow boards, full course yellow, on timing have been notified. So we're going to get some slow boards here, and it's what order were they in when the slow boards came out, because that is a little bit messy. They were still racing down to the far end under a slow board, and it won't matter. The red flags are out, and we will have a complete restart in Junior X30. So field will be brought round. It will be a complete restart, so Jake Flewitt will retake the start. It'll be his 4th go at starting this race. And 2 false starts, the one that got going and then the one that got stopped pretty much straight away. Louis Barker just being attended to by the medical team, as is protocol here on Alpha Live. We won't show you the driver being attended to by the medics. It's not what we do. But we will keep you as updated as we possibly can on the driver's situation, because we know that there may well be people watching at home. And Louis is up and out of the kart and somewhat gingerly makes his way into the emergency ambulance. His kart will be moved to safety. So drivers will be regridded in this penultimate final of the day. Thank you to those that have found the second live stream here at Shenington. And some technical issues that have plagued us throughout the second half of the day since the lunch break. So that, unfortunately, after the B finals, we did miss the iArmy Water Swift restricted final, which was a great shame. Apologies to those drivers. Congratulations though to Henry Hales, who takes the win in that class. So we're just going to regrid. I'm going to have a quick look at results from previous races. I think we're fairly clear on most of them. Make sure nothing has happened post-race that I don't want anything to happen, of course, to our drivers, but we'll have a quick look. So yeah, Archie Cannon, Mason Becker, Marcus Cooper, your top three in Honda is as per. Same in Mighty Bambino. Don't think there's any change in 250 supercarts. Same in 210 National. Formula Libre was Liv Jenkins taking the victory from James Ogden and Oliver Bourne, who charged through the field, with Max Abrahart, Alfie Phillipson, Ethan Manzier. Coles Racing 1, 2, 3 in our Intermax class. Junior Max is as it was, but I don't know if that one's been in the book enough yet to be fully declared. And iArmy Water Swift is probably still down in scrutineering. They've only been in about 5 minutes, so field will just being reordered further down into 2 lines now with drivers that are available, as Zach Turner strikes a relaxing pose there on the left hand side of the screen on the tyre wall, and then retakes his position inside one of the tyres. Driver we normally see in Junior Rotax has moved over to Junior X30 for this weekend, with the E-plate on offer here at the SuperPrix, along with a full iArmy Warrior Finals ticket for the winner and a place at the dance as well for the driver in second place. They get a place ticket. So plenty of prizes as well to be handed out post-race from all of our sponsors. X30 being sponsored by JM Engineering. They've been here all weekend with the support van. So a driver in the background there who I think may not have taken the original start, which was Tom Fox, will now be able to, if he can get that cart going again, get out for this second instalment of this final. I think he's working. See if he can get that cart started. See him there in the background with the white helmet all the way through the tyre wall. So driver on the outside there, just having a quick chat with his, guessing that's his dad, his mum as well. So Jake Flewitt then makes his way back onto track. So Logan and Brooklyn just in the live chat asking who the red flag is for. We had an incident at the first corner with Louis Barker going off and into the wall on the outside in the 48 at the start of the Junior X30 final. So he's just being tended to by the medical team. We're just sorting the carts out into the correct order. We have 2 ambulances here, which means that if we do have an incident, we are able to carry on racing because one ambulance can attend to the driver, and then we can have the second medic there as required. So it looks like we're almost ready to reorder this race down the far end of the circuit. Drivers down the tail end of the field retaking their positions in their seats. That's Ayrton Lima Evans on the right hand side, far right with his half and half yellow helmet, picking up the sun. So 10 minutes on the clock refreshed with 1 lap as well at the end to decide this Shenington SuperPrix Junior Junior X30 final. Also remember, for the regulars here at the club, this is round 7 of their championship. So what will be start number 4 for our Junior X30s. It's being led round by the 36 of Jake Flewitt in the fluoro yellow and black colours. Into the tram lines they go, onto the power, and we are away and racing. 10 minutes plus 1. Flewitt will lead us up towards the first corner with Archie Rogers-Tyler in hot pursuit. A few drivers getting caught up, the 22 and the 16. Seth Angus already peeling off. Millen Tomlinson rejoins, albeit few metres down, and we've got other drivers concertinaing together, and we're all getting stacked up down the far end. Izzy Whites is one of them. Ayrton Lima Evans is in there as well. He's going to pull off and into retirement up the wrong side of the Stratford hairpin. Fluid leads then, although he's levered slightly wide there by Archie Rogers-Tyler, which could well allow Finlay Hines to try and get down the inside. Tyler is through. And Hines is coming down the inside of Jake Flewitt as well. Flewitt's going to try and stick it out round the outside and hold on here. Second place for Jake Flewitt at the moment as Archie Rogers-Tyler. And something getting skittled to the outside there. Looks like some debris from the incident a lap or so ago, and a few other bits bouncing away as well. Could that have been an exhaust spring? So Rogers-Tyler continues to lead, but that's Jake Flewitt trying to go down the inside, and Flewitt will lead once again from Rogers-Tyler, Hines, Mason, Turner, Taylor, all there as well. A few more getting involved in the background with each other. It's down the inside of Max Mason goes Zach Turner for fourth place. Flewitt will defend us. Oh, Hines tries to go up and over the curb as he goes down the inside of Rogers-Tyler. Gets the move done late on towards the first corner for Finlay Hines in the number 57 machine. Flewitt leads though, and whilst ever these drivers battle behind, he can eke out a little bit of a gap. Archie Rogers-Tyler, Finlay Hines, Zach Turner, Max Mason, Alfie Taylor, all there as well in the mix. Probably goes a little bit further actually, Jack Baker, Sam Mott as well. That's Alfie Taylor now behind Jack Baker in P8. Defensive line though for Finlay Hines is going to see him and Archie Rogers-Taylor get into each other, and that's allowed both Turner and Max Mason through. Max Mason agreeing there with Zach Turner that forwards is the direction of travel they would like to go, rather than getting involved with each other and shuffling each other backwards. Rogers-Tyler with Turner, Mason, Hines, and now being shuffled back down to P5 by Rogers-Tyler on that previous lap. Gap is heading towards the 1 second mark for the race leader, Jake Flewitt. A few drivers under investigation, Jack Baker and Katie Clark, for infringements earlier on in the race. They picked up warnings for them as well. Quite at half race distance. We will be next time round. 10 minutes plus 1 lap in this final. Turner holding on to that third place. And Mason is now going to come under pressure, I think, from Finlay Hines. And I wonder if Hines is going to have a willingness to work with Turner in the same way as Max Mason. Mason's going to come back down the inside of Finlay Hines. Hines squeezes him to the white line on the right-hand side of the circuit. Both crop promotion drivers. Jake Flewitt takes the wide line into Wilkins, but that does allow him to put the power down early and pull away. Jack Baker starting to now try and make some moves in that 45 from 6th place. Mechanical flag for Ethan Windsor. He's currently down in P25. He's going to peel off into the pit lane shortly. And he's just come in. That sounded a lot like an exhaust off for Ethan. He gets up and out of the kart and has that exhaust detached from the back of the motor. Certainly sounded like it. He's also missing a front Nassau. I think that's the nose panel's missing is probably slightly more important than the sound of the kart, actually. Not quite sure how I missed that, but you know, eyes painted on. Jake Flewitt with Archie Rogers-Tyler and Zach Turner. Turner drawing closer as Rogers-Tyler and Jake Flewitt closing up on each other here. Rogers-Tyler earlier on in the race wasn't particularly keen on being in second place. Does like to lead from the front. Alfie Taylor goes down the inside of Connor Large for 8th place. We've got a leading duo with, at the moment, Zach Turner playing a supporting role, but he would like to become a main character in this Junior X30 final battle at the front. Flewitt taking a very wide line, and that's an invite that Rogers-Tyler is not going to turn down as he goes down the inside. Not quite sure what Jake Flewitt's thinking was there, leaving such a wide gap, but he is indeed back in front now. Got the move done at Cafe Corner, and I'll tell you what, the X30 cameo from the usual Rotax runner in Zach Turner is he has become a main character here. Top 3 at the front. Flewitt is wide, although that may well open the door here for Turner to come down the inside of Archie Rogers-Tyler for second place, and Turner's immediately going to go on the attack here of Jake Flewitt. He tries to dive down the inside, and then he's going to go all the way round the outside. Contact between the two of them as he tried to turn in for Zach Turner. Tried to go round the outside and chop across the bows of Jake Flewitt. Flewitt really had nowhere to go there. Can't really pitch blame at either of them for that. Turner had to go round the outside. Flewitt on the inside had nowhere to go up and to be on the inside. Turner tried to turn across and get the kart stopped. In front of Jake Flewitt, didn't quite work out for him, but has got to give it a go. So Flewitt then leads now from Rogers Hines. Turner is still there in P4. Max Mason and Sam Mott cancel that. Turner's down the inside for P3. Minute on the clock. Lapping in the 43s, so they'll not get round before that 43 mark, so it will be 2 laps to go at the end of this one. And again, Flewitt deep into that corner. And will defend from Archie Rogers-Tyler. Parks the kart in the middle of Cafe Corner. Behind them, Turner, Hines, Mason, Mott. Little bit of a gap back then to Ryan Meta in 7th place as Flewitt takes that defensive line. Not defensive enough though, because here comes Rogers-Tyler alongside as they run up towards Bruno. Flewitt does enough to hold on. Again, moving over to the side of the track. I think he left enough space as Turner then will try to open the door and then up and over the grass, and that is a very, very different line for Archie Rogers-Tyler, and he's going to drop all the way down the order. Turner's going to get shuffled back as well to at least P4. Hines and Mott are up into the podium positions by the look of things, and Jake Flewitt is off at the front. He's got half a second now. A look over the shoulder will confirm that, but he's face forward and focused. Out onto the hanger straight. Now he has a look over the shoulder. Now he can probably take that wide line that he's been taking throughout the race as he heads out of the final corner. Jake Flewitt will come through to win the Shenington SuperPrix, the E-Plate and the IARMY Warrior Final full ticket from Finley Hines, who gets a ticket to the main event at the end of the season as well. Turner on the podium in P3 with Sam Mott, Archie Rogers, Tyler, Max Mason, Connor Large, Ryan Meta, Jack Baker and Alfie Taylor. The top 10 split by 2 seconds. The top 4 pulled in for scrutineering. Jake Flewitt, though, takes the win here in Junior X30. Will take the E-Plate and also wins a full ticket to the IARMY Warrior Finals 2026. Finley Hines will be there with him as well in the number 57 machine, just in the background. Turner pushing in second in the queue, but third on the day for Zach Turner. Onto the weigh scale we go then for Jake Flewitt. Just waits the thumbs up, gets it, and we'll push the cart forward. Parks the cart in scrutineering and now goes off in search. There we go. Of some congratulations, which he's going to get a very, very special moment there for Jake Flewitt. Helmet still on, but receiving the congratulations and adulations of those around him. Jake Flewitt takes the win here at the SuperPrix and the ticket to the IARMY Warrior Finals. He'll be joined by Finley Hines at the finals and on the podium. Zach Turner will join them as well. Results provisional as we get the green flag in the dummy grid for the final of the 2026 Shenington SuperPrix. It's time for Senior X30. Two heat wins to his name. Nat Johnston will start on pole position. Luke Taylor alongside with Sam Lewis and James Pashley, the reigning E-Plate, will hope to hold on to it. Joey Brown, who's been phenomenal so far, with Alistair Creswell alongside him. Leo Brown, Dominic Parabot, Ryan Gill and Monty Brathwaite, with Tom Edmonds and Ben Cowley on row number 6. Charlie King will start in P13. Lauren Dunlevy alongside Sebastian Dew and Matt Cardwell in front of Oliver Meek and Zeph Nürnberger on row 9. Bailey Brooker, Finley Allen with Lucy Lovell and Harvey Rofe. Brandon Williams and Joshua McLean will go off row number 12. Row 13 will be Alfie Gallagher and Jasmine Taylor, Lewis Bird and Oliver Smith, with Charlie Philp and Jake Brook. Then your runners that came through the B final: Ashman Armstrong, Samir and Masters. 34 drivers, one prize, a ticket to the IARMY Warrior Finals. And we're away and racing with 10 minutes and 1 lap on the clock. Everybody through round Cafe Corner, a few jostling in the mid-pack, but everybody's through nice and cleanly up towards the right-hander of the Stratford hairpin. And so far, until now, everybody's through there nice and cleanly as well. The seniors showing us how it's done. Nat Johnston showing the field how it's done at the moment. He'll lead them down the hanger straight for the first time from Luke Taylor behind in the 27. Johnston then at the end of lap 1. Taylor, Lewis, Brown, Pashley, Creswell, Robinson, Parabot, Gill, King, Brathwaite, Cowley, Brooker, Cardwell, Dunlevy, Dew, McLean, Edmonds, Bird and Rofe down to P20. Can anybody do anything about Nat Johnston here in the 77. Unbeaten through the heats. And already looking formidable in this final. Got a gap. 3/10 at the end of lap number 1. Looks to be out a little bit nearer half a second. Indeed it is at the end of lap 2. Sebastian Dew falling down the order. A number of places, in fact, as on that lap, as did Dominic Parabok. He lost 3 down to P11. Nice move down the inside by Joey Brown. Colours of Fusion Motorsport. Johnston with the fastest lap on that first real flyer. This time though, it's Joey Brown. Up towards the right-hander at Stratford. Sam Lewis and James Pashley in 4th and 5th place, just trying to go with, but at the moment struggling to match the pace of Joey Brown in front. Monty Brathwaite with the fastest lap. Laura York asking if Honda's done their final yet. Yes, they have. It was around about an hour and a half ago. They were one of the first finals, final number 3 for Hondas. So give us 10 minutes of your time or so to get this Senior X30 out of the way, and you can go back and watch that one. It was a cracker in Hondas, but then again it usually is. Timing back up there as Pashley has found a way past Sam Lewis, but get the feeling that that E-plate is going to have to be peeled off that kart at the end of the day. Just at the moment, Matt Johnston is extending the lead at the front of this race. Nice move by Oliver Smith down the inside for 15th place as he goes past Sebastian Dew, as Brown is through as well on Luke Taylor. Taylor did well there not to lose more places, but Pashley is looking interested down the inside. Creswell, Bird's been shuffled, so Sam Lewis has been shuffled back to P6 now in front of Leo Robinson. That's this train here. As change further down as well. So Taylor's getting shuffled back corner by corner here. He's going to be down in 6th place now as Sam Lewis takes the advantage of what is a bit of a wounded animal at the moment in Luke Taylor. And to further compound that, Leo Robinson's gone down the inside as well. Taylor from second, a few corners ago, down into P7 now. Joshua McLean under investigation for something earlier on in the race, but he's not inside the top 10. He's got the P13. So Pashley up into 3rd place then. Brown, gap is 1.4 seconds to the lead. And get the feeling that if Johnston can put another lap in that takes it out to 1.6, 1.7, the rest of the field are just going to start battling over 2nd place, and indeed it's happened already. James Pashley through on Joey Brown for 2nd place in Senior X30, and it would appear now that the field have already, to a large extent, conceded the victory to Nat Johnston. Gap will be nearly 2 seconds, indeed it is, because they are squabbling. 6 deep over 2nd place here. Brown, Pashley, Creswell, Robinson, Lewis and Taylor. Just peeling off into the pit lane goes Lewis Bird in the number 7. He's out. Across the line in P18. We'll end the day outside the top 25. Brown is back in front of Pashley now. There is Lewis Bird. Back to this train of 6 then. Goes down the inside, that's Aaron Creswell making a little move. So Pashley now under pressure from Leo Robinson for 4th place. They've got a gap back then to Luke Taylor and Sam Lewis. Taylor's got back past Lewis on this lap. The green kart in front of the blue one. Three minutes on the clock, the gap's out to 2.5 seconds. It's unassailable now for Nat Johnston at the front of this senior X30 final. Another final where the top 2 are going to secure their place, and that's why they're battling it out so hard over second, and they're going to run into each other. Pashley's going to come out in second, but it will not be Joey Brown. In third, he's been shuffled back behind Leo Robinson. Johnston at the moment is going to get the full ticket to the Army Warrior finals. And as it stands, Pashley's going to get a place there as well. Nice move down the inside. Further down this order. To be fair now, we've got Gill, Parabok and Brathwaite in the mix as well. Bailey Brooker's there, Charlie King in P12. That's where we go to. 2nd to 12th, all in this camera shot here. .31 of Creswell. Someone getting forced a little bit wide there on the exit of Cafe Corner. 1:15 on the clock. Johnston's down the road. The battle is on for 2nd place and that ticket at the Army Warrior finals. Pashley still holding that position at the moment from Leo Robinson and Joey Brown. Brown has been superb throughout this race day, I think, until this final. Every time we've seen him, he's been going past somebody. Runs high as 2nd, having started in P5 for Joey Brown. Moves now in this 2nd train. We're split into a 5, and then that's Parabok, Lewis, Gill, Brooker and a few others. King and Smith in there as well. They've brought Joshua McLean along. Gap back then there to the next train. That's Brandon Williams leading that one, although he's just about to lose the place, I think, to Tom Edmonds in the 51 machine. Johnston comes out in the final corner. We'll trip the timing line now with 11 seconds on the clock, so 2 to go for Nat Johnston. 1 minute and 23 seconds away from winning the Shenington SuperPrix. Down the runway straight they go into the Bruno chicane. Pashley still leading this 2nd train of karts from Robinson, Brown, Creswell and Taylor. Then there's a gap back to what was a long train of about 12 karts, but now a split as Luke Taylor goes down the inside of Alistair Creswell. P5, Creswell's managed to get him back on the exit of Wilkins. Leader is through and up towards the Stratford hairpin for the final time. He's got the full length of the straight, 4.3 seconds is the gap at the front for Nat Johnstone. round Wilkins for the final time. He could probably get out and push it home, but he's going to be pushing himself to the IARMI Warrior Finals. Nat Johnston wins the Shenington SuperPrix here in 2026. James Pashley will be going to the finals with him. He'll get a ticket in second place, with Leo Robinson, Joey Brown, Alistair Creswell, Monty Brathwaite on the final lap going up to P6 in front of Luke Taylor, Dominic Parabok, Sam Lewis, Ryan Gill complete your top 10 in front of Bailey Brooker, Charlie King, Joshua McLean and Tom Edmonds. Congratulations to Nat Johnstone. He drove off into the distance, commanded the race, did what he needed to do. And here's a driver that is going to Viterbo in Italy in October for the IARMI Warrior.